Alrighty, here we go, here we go. Are we going? I think so. We are live. Okay, let's get this station set up. Sharpen some pencils. We'll be talking about this book, and I think it's going to be an exciting one. 15 minutes. Hopefully you get an email saying join in the fun if you're coming on live. Get some bird sounds on. We'll see. Maybe this will get by. Clean up my drawing zone here, I think, a little bit in the future. A little too chaotic for my Virgo liking. time for the countdown. Well, didn't advertise, not on social media, so let's see if anyone even joins us tonight. Regardless, I'm still drawn, and I think tonight is going to be a great one, studying Sabin Howard's work. So you're going to want to be part of this live in case you have any questions. For sure. And here we are, and welcome. I kind of wanted to do like the John Oliver opening, but I don't want to be stealing it. You know what I mean? So, it's raining out, and I had a casual day, and here in my cup is something new I'm trying. This is an herbal tea called kratom or kratom. And it's not quite a scheduled drug, but I know exactly how I feel right now. So I'm going to drink this tea, and I'm going to see if anything changes in my feelings. Supposedly it has opioid-like effects or calming or caffeine. Who knows? Did a little research. I'm a little bit curious. So tonight we will not only have a little bit of caffeine from the Pepsi, but we'll try the kratom tonight. And I made it like a matcha latte. Now, thank you for joining me. I think we have a very interesting night tonight. Okay, there's this figurative artist handbook. And I pre-ordered this when it first came out. You can see it's well loved already. In it are a couple drawings that really stand out for me. Let me just go to them here. There's one. So in this book, there's a lot of how we study at Ateliers, kind of the more classical method. But there are these wonderful drawings here, which, when you look at sort of the Atelier method with it, which is soft and tonal, and yes, it looks real. I don't know if this is translating well for you, but we have this more dynamic kind of neoclassicist, almost exaggerated and emphasized body. Now, what's important about this? Let me first say who the artist is and explain why we're going to study his drawings. I made a couple copies, and they're not going to look great. Livestream does cut down the quality of the video, I find. These are some of the sketches by the artist in question. Okay, so in the Figurative Artist's Handbook that I just showed by Robert Zeller, I saw these drawings by Sabin Howard. Now, if you don't know who Sabin or Sabine is, he is a classical figurative sculptor based in New York City. And follow him on Instagram, look up social media. His website is sabinhoward.com, and I believe it's in the YouTube description box already. He got the contract for a National World War I Memorial sculpture titled The Weight of Sacrifice. This will be in Pershing Park in Washington, D.C. It's a 60-foot bronze. And so Sabin is a sculptor, right? Neoclassical sculptor. However, he's not just a great sculptor. We just saw he is great at drawing. And what I love about his drawings is that they emphasize the things of three-dimensional understanding of the physical body. Now, I think they're exquisite. And if we study his drawings today in order to do a master copy and be humbled by the fact that he has 30 years experience and 50,000 hours of practice from live models, hopefully we can extract some of that experience and knowledge and get some insight into his masterful technique that might help us understand what we can add to ours or how we can make our work better. Okay? So that's the purpose. And I know sometimes there's haters out there. I've had a lot of experience in social media, of which I'm now off, and it has been wonderful, although I feel like people don't know about the live stream because I'm not shoving it down their throat anymore. So thanks for joining in. If you're here, it's because you know every Wednesday, 6 until 9, I'm here. Okay? Look up Sabin Howard or Sabine Howard. On his website, you can find some of these drawings. These may have come off of Pinterest. I have them on the screen in front of me, higher resolution than my LaserJet printer can print, but maybe I'll refer back to these periodically, and maybe with the layout. I'm going to attempt to do 2 drawings tonight. So we're doing a quick jog of this master study. I want to do this forward-facing female to get the structure and some of the shadow shapes. We might not have time for the subtleties of the ribs and the serratus, but we'll see, right? Maybe it's simpler than it looks. And this back. So they're similar poses, but the one on the right is male, and the one on the left is female. I am using just some white paper that was scrap. I've got a stack of this stuff in my drawer. It's a little bit thin. I want to see if it's smooth enough. I'm not sure how it's going to take the pencils because I've never used them before. In fact, these were drawn graphite on paper and not much, a little bit smaller than what I'm drawing here. But I'm not going to draw in graphite because it doesn't work great for what you guys can see off the live stream. It's not quite dark enough. So what my plan is to draw these 2, let's see, beside each other. We'll split the paper down the center, and it'll probably be something like that, our study. Okay? You can see too, there's a kind of a grid pattern in the back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and a bit. I don't know if those are related to head length or what, but by going through this process, we ought to figure out what's going on here. Here it's something else, like maybe the grid is added later for him to transfer it, like he draws it and then maybe he blows it up for a mural or something. I have no idea. In doing the quick amount of research, 2 minutes before starting this, I did find out that Sabin on his website has figure drawing classes. They are webinars. Look, I'm not an affiliate. I'm just telling you, I should probably take one. They're $250 US for 5 webinar classes, and there's a bunch of them. And these pictures that I'm drawing from are from Robert Zeller's book, are actually on the advert. So I don't know what to expect. I'm a little strapped for cash and also for time, but maybe in the future I'll study it and be like, you know what? There was a reason behind what he did, and I am ignorant to it right now. We're just simply gonna do a copy, right? And in so doing, let's think about our vertical plumb, as always, separating the body into 2 halves. That will help us judge the curves and what quadrants are in, and horizontals, okay? So, you know, if you fold your paper, if you print these out, there's all sorts of ways, but we want to keep that in mind as artists. Below my sheet of paper are 15 to 20 sheets of newsprint to give it a little bit of padding for when I do any toning. If I do it, I'll just show you quick. If I do it on the board, actually that's not too bad, but it will pick up little dots and, you know, little pieces of texture from the board below. But by having a bunch of paper, it's almost like the difference between walking on a hardwood floor and feeling that hardness against your foot, or nice flexible carpet. In terms of painting, painters like Caesar Santos, he actually puts his canvas on. He has a whole big piece of industrial carpet on his studio wall, and he staples the canvas to it, and then it gives him a little bit of give that the brush needs when working on canvas. You don't get that same effect when working on panel, but that's beside the point. So let's get set up. I now have to move the YouTube screen over so that I can center my image on the LCD in front of me. I was asked the other day by one of the past students if he should get a 55-inch screen or something like that, because it's better to learn from it. And I'll be honest with you, if you're going to work from a screen and you want to check yourself and you want to use it like a light table to check your drawing, to check your stuff. Just make sure that your screen is big enough to hold whatever paper size you're working on. And we see at the end, I always put the paper up aside, and this screen that is lent to me for free from C-Space just happens to fit 18 by 24, which is what I call the standard size here at the studio, because all the equipment and all the classes, that's what we're doing here. So, 10 minutes in, not bad. Let's get this show on the road. So, because I'm right-handed, I'm going to draw the left-hand female figure first. And I would suggest in many ways she's more complicated and might take longer. But we will set the timer. Pontomoro timing today. That's 25 minutes. I don't need lots of breaks, so. But it's good to keep the habit of having breaks. So you see that? 25 minutes. We'll get our lay-in, our plotting going on. Our plotting. So. First things first, and I'll just show you what's in my mind. Down the center line of the body, I'll take it from the side of her mouth through the nipple pretty much, and the crossing here of that groin area. If I fold this paper in half, that might approximate as well. Yeah, where my line is pretty much, right? I'm thinking halfway, and then halfway this direction as well. So like a sniper, we have a crosshair. And if you were a mason building a structure, you know, you have, so the trochanter, the top of the pubic bone, trochanter on the other side, so there's divots. You know, we have landmarks. We have a way to figure out that it's equal distance from here to here. And the same goes for here. So because I need her to be justified on this side, I'm only going to go halfway from the center. Halfway from the center. And I'll just check, right? I want her to fit because I need the two figures in. So let's say that that's the center. And let's do a top line and a bottom line for the height. And we'll see if we can make it fit. In fact, since I'm not using this side, I'll leave the image I'm working on there. However, I'm not looking at this one. I might refer to it. I'm looking straight ahead over the drawing board just so that I'm getting in my practice of looking up, drawing the same thing that we would be doing if we were to have a live model. Yeah? Sound good? Is it like bunnies in the house or what? I'm going to also create some room to put my kratom in. Now, I don't know what this is even going to taste like. Oh, it's bitter. Oh my god. This is kind of gross. We'll see. In 20 minutes, I might be on the floor giggling. I don't know. So I mean, we can count these boxes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and a bit. Which is traditionally what you would say a female's height is. I'm a little thrown off by this guy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and a bit. He's a little bit taller than the 8 heads high that we see in Loomis. So I don't know what those have to do with it. It could just be, like I said, added in later for a mural. So we're going to go with my system, which is the crosshair quadrants. The head is to the left of the line. So we'll just approximate a size for now. And if I take a measurement of it, the length of the head will equal the length of where the breast is. Okay, so we'll just mark that. The other thing I'll do is find out my halfway point. And the reason why is just to make sure. I'll take my head length, and I just eyeballed it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So eyeballing it, I'm pretty close. My head might be a little bit small, but you can adjust as you go. For now, just make a guess. The center line of the head is at this diagonal. So we'll just copy that diagonal. And the brow line, which should be, 90 degrees perpendicular to it. Okay, so we'll drop where the pubis bone is at the bottom, and we will go head, chest, which is more justified to the right. So we'll put the chest here. The chest is 4 cranial masses, so it can be a little bit wider on this side. 4 cranial masses if you're using those measurements. The neck pit at an angle. So we have some neck. We have the angle of the shoulders here. Maybe a little higher up. We'll see how we do here. Head length, head length. That puts the breast a little lower. Head length, head length, head length. Okay, so making my head that much longer evened out my measurements at least, which is good. So head, chest, the center line, and it curves so we can see the sternum. We can see the thoracic arch. And it turns back towards there, so we center it. You can also show that arch. That way you really understand how this chest is going. But it's head, chest, hips. The halfway point, as we determined there, let's just check it, is where the trochanter is. We can take a head measurement and go across the length of the head from the center line out, puts the trochanter right there. So, hips. In this case, I can do like a reverse bucket shape. So the upside down bucket. There are so many, and you can follow the circle of the body. So many different ways to describe conceptually that shape. You can use cylinder forms going across. You can use the right side, the downward bucket. Downward bucket looks like this. And then the trochanter comes off. And then when you connect the acis to the trochanter, you get that angle. All right. Whatever you choose for that day, whatever tools work best. And the more tools you have in the way, the easier life is. Okay, very, very bitter. I don't use honey or sugar, so stevia, monk fruit, those are my options. Let's just slice some of the head off here. Give ourselves, a little bit more jawline. Often that area right there represents the ears, the part you're slicing off. And then halfway, although if we look, the eyes, they're pretty much halfway. They're pretty much halfway. So the brow I put in was a little high, but you see there's a nice arch to those eyebrows anyhow. Okay, let's keep moving. Head, chest, hips. Now, here I like to do hips and shoulder if there's an angle in which to hang the limbs from. Here we're looking at pretty much straight across, which we have established right there. Now, I would suggest arms are less important in terms of structure than, in fact, her elbow is going to go a little bit higher than I want. Almost off the page, but arms are less important, I feel, than legs. Legs hold up the body, and if you're looking at the energy that's traveling through this body, this gesture kind of goes up through the leg that's standing and holds the weight, up this arm, around this arm, and then this arm kind of shoots the energy down, and it travels down here and in through the less supporting leg. So it looks like, you know, 70% of the weight is on this leg, maybe even 80, and 30 or 20% on this leg, and the heel is raised. And you can also look for which muscles are flexed. So this leg is the stability leg. So we want to draw that. And so the bone from the trochanter comes in and goes straight down the knee. And if you look here at the malleolus here, you have your tibial bone and the fibula right there. But the way we'll describe it is basically from in between the big toe and the second toe straight up, which goes to the kneecap and then straight up to the hip. So that goes like this, right? That describes the stability of that leg. Whereas this leg, as described before, coming across in these angles, we just shoot that out a little bit. And I could take a head measurement and just go across. So it's not all the way over. Okay? And in terms of the legs, from the landmark of the foot to the trochanter, about halfway is the bottom of the knee. So we'll take that measurement. I love the halfway measurements. This knee, of course, is a little bit higher. So we got a good breakdown of the limbs. We haven't had to draw the outside shape of it yet. We just want like a stick figure to hold up, and we'll start building the muscles on top. In terms of these arms, one goes here, the other. Man, I wish I had planned that a little better, but goes up here. Okay, so we've got a sort of skeleton, and we'll work our way back down, adding more forms. We'll start with the neck. We could put our thirds in too. So thirds and halves. You've got third for the forehead, to the nose, to the mouth. You can also go from the brow to the chin, halfway, tip of the nose. And it's in shadow. From the nose to the chin, halfway, bottom of the lip. It's nice to kind of have these in here right off the bat. Let's put the neck in now. It comes at a diagonal. He's kept this line very straight. In fact, that might be where I feel like Michelangelo, he is a sculptor. He balances straight and curved. There's a curve here. But also, he emphasizes the roundness of all the forms, right? It looks a little cartoony to me. This person could be ripped, but rather than be angular, they're all more concave forms on the outside of these straights, and that's what gives it a lot of visual interest. Let's go in a little tighter. Maybe you can see better this way. Kratom. All right. Put the other side of the neck in. So I think I'll move that clavicle up. I think ideally I would move the head down a little bit so the elbows aren't reaching the end of my paper. But we'll just make the neck a little bit longer. You can see the sternocleidomastoid coming down towards the neck pit. And I'll define that neck pit right there. It's to the right of my plumb line today. Okay. We've got our sternum established. We can use round forms for the breasts. They're like a teardrop shape that travels up the pec. Okay. Oh, my music ended here. We'll go back to the birds probably. So the rib cage, which we can see established, is nearly straight. It actually, he has it going in 3. Comes down at an angle. And the belly button. Now, normally it's 3 heads down. 1, 2, 3. And he's following that rule. Even though the head's at an angle, I am taking the measurement off the angle, not off the vertical. So if we go 1, 2, 3, that marker right there. But the belly button is to the side of it, to the right, and following the center line curve. So we'll just put that in there. That's kind of the nice thing about copying and learning from it is our thought process. All the decisions have been made, and we just have to analyze them. Why did they do it this way? What advantage is there? I assume he was working from life. Where I put that turning line here, we can use to get us where we need to be. Okay, simplified. So, because I have the forms in, I'm not just going around drawing the contour. I actually have the structure that I need. I find that this makes me a little bit faster and a little more confident. I'm not King Jungus, who I can just start drawing and sketching. I have to have some sort of planning. Across from this rib, which you might drop a little bit, horizontally. I'll drop it a little bit. The breast can come down on the right side because there's a tilt of the shoulder. Right? There's a slight angle there. And in doing so, I can elongate that just a little bit. We'll see when we go up against the screen how accurate this actually is. I love doing that with the TV because we don't have the model in front of us. We might as well use what we have. I'm going to take a little measurement here. Yeah, she's nowhere near that length. Brow to chin. Okay. I was checking this from my center. She's mine looks a lot taller and skinnier right now. Could just be the angle that I'm tilted at, but we'll find out later. So, horizontally, speaking, from this rib over is where that fold occurs. Then we have the mound at the oblique. Straightens out. Down to the trochanter. Looks like that side got a little bit wider. That's good. We'll see how she turns out. So yes, we don't have to draw as many structures. I don't need to explain how that's a cylinder because I have these 3 main points down already. Here we have the lat, turns up right here. You know, you have your infraspinatus, and just on the other side of that, scapula, major and minor, teres major and minor. Okay, now we will pull this neck, kind of comes down right here. Just cross-referencing as I go. My neck is a little bit longer. I can tell by the negative space. And I'm just going to wing this arm. Tricep. More so because what I'm studying for here is by going over the lines and looking at it, I'm not going for perfect anatomy, but I'm looking for how he solves problems around the body's form. And as a sculptor, I think he's an amazing sculptor. He's well adapted to each individual form. You know, one of the best ways to learn drawing, honestly, is sculpting. And I mean, that doesn't mean because you can draw, you can sculpt, that's for sure. But it really, if you do like an écorché, it could really teach you. So from the chin straight across, that goes to the shoulder, the deltoid muscle. And we'll scoop that down. Mine's a little bit big, so we'll just trim it in. I like his little bit thicker and continuous line. I mean, it gets thicker and thin in areas, but it doesn't look sketchy. You know, it's not too uncertain. And then we got that crosshatch, which we may or may not get to. Okay. Let's, while we're doing this sort of thing, let's do the other side. Something I recall Keith saying a few weeks ago in his live stream was if you do one side, do the other. So I'm not going to leave this arm till later and do this leg, although for me I feel like that would work. I'll get this other arm done too. So above the nose, well, actually at the nose is the ear. It looks like our ear's in a good place. I'm using the ear to align the forearm. And let's just travel around this form as a contour. In fact, let's take the head length and just see. It's one head length to the crook of the arm where the bicep meets it. So I'm just puzzling it out. This isn't as much like anatomy learning. I'm just, what angle is that line? About how long is it? Where does it line up, right? That's the kind of drawing we're doing right now. Let's get the elbow up here. Tricep. And so in alignment with the ribs is where, and the chin, wow, I think my arm is a little off. If I go horizontally here, that's where this bicep is coming out. You can see why following the contour can be really bad. you just wind up someplace else. The whole map gets thrown off. That's good because I needed a little bit more forearm, although my forearm is looking a little too Popeye right now. That's okay. If we post this, I will tag Sabin. One of my students actually knows him, and we were going to arrange for him to do a talk for the Atelier students. But in seeing, there's him on camera and whatnot on his Instagram. Honestly, to see his passion and his hard work, I actually feel like not interrupting his life and letting him do his work. Okay, so let's just take no minutes for a break. I'm gonna keep drawing. I hope that's okay. Do you need a break? Take it. After we get the drawing, we'll put this up on the screen and we'll try to blow this up about the same size as we're drawing and look for distortion. It's a good idea to figure out where, I habitually make the same mistakes. I do have issues with the legs, so I'm taking a course from Brian Knox right now. It's my job to find out how to improve. Now, if you have a good teacher, they'll help you out too. But if you're on your own, which many of us are right now, you need ways of doing that. And you gotta be honest with yourself, which is hard because we are sensitive artists. And the ego can get crushed. If you don't have a thick enough skin for this, just do Bob Ross instead. Paint some happy trees. Like I was saying earlier in the intro, some of you who are joining in late didn't hear it, but Sabin Howard, on his website, it says 45,000 hours of model time. 45,000 hours. 30 years experience. A living master, in my opinion. So what do they say? It takes 10,000 hours to master something? He's done it 5 times, actually, because somewhere else I read 50,000 hours. And he's working with models now on his World War I memorial sculpture. So just put that into context. This is why we can study him. Definitely has plenty to offer. Just looking at this, how he's grouped and split the shadow shape here. It's very interesting. If someone wants to donate me $250 US, I'll take his class, and then I'll learn to draw better, and then I'll broadcast my lesson on here. Not his lesson, what I learned. What you learn, what you get out of it is so different than what they're teaching, like we're dealing with Master Yoda here, or like Buddha kind of stuff. You can only get out of it at the level that you're at. I do try to talk through this and simplify it. I know some of you are maybe not even listening, but it doesn't affect you because you already have your your practice and your methodologies. And some other people, they might be a little more new to this, or don't use the same verbal cues and language as I use when I'm teaching. But hopefully you pick something up from this. For me, it's not just showing up for my practice. I'm always trying to not rest on my laurels, push myself. And, you know, whether it's getting faster or just being able to talk while I draw, my gosh, that's a new skill I didn't really think I had to have. And definitely not as developed as it's becoming through this practice of weekly live stream. During my demos in class, I'm not necessarily talking the whole time. Students are watching and then they ask questions as I go. But here, I don't know, I feel like I'm presenting. In fact, a little side story here. I get really nervous to be in front of people. Most people don't believe me when I say that. I am an introvert by nature. I learned the skill of teaching. At first, I fell into it actually. It started when I worked at a video production place called EM Media. And I was one of the few people who had taught himself video editing on this old system called the Media 100. It's like a cousin to Avid. Avid's a professional system. And I had gotten this job through Grant Poirier, who was on their board. It was a not-for-profit society for video production. And 2 days later, the head guy quit and I guess moved to Vancouver for a much more lucrative job position in the same field. I, being the new guy, I kind of got the job because I could put the red, yellow, and white plugs in a VCR to a TV and figure out technically how that worked. But because I was in this position, I basically moved into M-Media and trained myself on everything so I could be of better service to all the members and users. And for some time, they didn't hire anyone at all. They couldn't find anyone with the skills. So I taught myself, but now I needed to teach others because I couldn't sit and edit while I was working all these movies in multiple rooms. They had 2 edit suites at the time and moved upwards of 5. And so I started teaching. Now that teaching was me sitting at a desk with a couple people behind me on rolling chairs doing computer stuff. My back was even turned to them. And slowly but surely, I got better at teaching in that way. And I did a lighting class called Painting with Light. And I did a lot with video production. I always wanted to get back into the art, and I did residencies and stuff. And eventually, I had to sub for someone at ACAD, now AU Arts. And I guess I did such a good job and got such good reviews that they asked me to teach there in continuing education. So I didn't train to be a teacher. I didn't necessarily want to be a teacher, but I was pretty good at it. And so that turned into a career opportunity and a skill that I trained more in. Okay, I'm working down the legs now. I think that's enough. It's kind of like when I drew the Michelangelo, right? We're just boxing it in. Some things are going to have to change, and that's okay. But the next pass, I'll do all the cast and core shadows. Back to my life story. The life story comes free with the drawing because I know the answers, even though it sounds like I'm fumbling over my words. It's because the parts of my brain that are trying to analyze what I'm doing are different than where my communication comes from. Oh well. Where was I? Teaching at AU Arts now. Actually, this moves over a little bit. There's 2 kind of center lines here. I want to put the non-technical term of yoni on my vertical line. So I just shove it over a little bit. If I was a plastic surgeon, I'd use the same term. I'll just shove that over a little bit. Just move your nose to the right or to the left. Okay. And that gives us these nice curved lines. So using the pencil this way, I might ghost some of the lines in, meaning I kind of float over top before I put it down, and it goes nice and round as it comes down. The kneecap area down around here. So I'm just trying to figure it out so that I can bring this line and have these two meet up. So curves. Nothing is straight or vertical. My structure is, but no lines on the body are. So I want to make sure to round them out. I might draw the other one different. I might draw with more gestural approach. Here, I'm like, I don't know what I'd call this, puzzling it out. Below the kneecap, the calf kind of comes out at this direction. Let's just see. It's 3 units to the ankle, so it turns about there. And I'll just draw kind of a box shape or, I don't know, webbing to represent my foot, like a paddle. In fact, I'm just going to take a visual measurement and see how it relates to the head. It's about this long, so we'll find the malleolus. The ankle is about there, so I'll just put that line in. I do have a little bit of room if I need to make this leg longer or the foot longer. We can cheat. It's a good kind of cheating. Good kind of cheating. So let's get that third and move it up a little bit. My tendency is to draw legs like our model Lee has. But I need to taper the ankles more. Lee's got amazing calves, and it's like I always draw my calves too big and my ankles too thick, my cankles. These might be too thick, I don't know. I don't know. We'll find out. Where'd that eraser go? For now, that looks okay. I don't really have, I don't really take measurements on the horizontal. Maybe I should. Maybe I should. And then the knee's going to be there. That looks pretty good for that leg. It's a little wide here, maybe as well. Sometimes I do check here, this distance, along with the head. Make sure it's not too wide. In this case, it is. I'm going to leave it for now because I think there's a lesson to be had in that. Okay. I want to look where this kneecap is in alignment with the B word here. There we go. I'm being cautious because of the algorithm right now. I'm terrified about losing all the hard work because I do have a lot of people. I'd say 80% of the people don't watch this live. It's not like the chat's active, guys. No one's writing anything today. People that, if I put it on Facebook after, they'll watch it. It's like everyone's so busy on a Wednesday night. I don't know. Now, I will take this measurement and transfer it over to here because they should relate. That's something I learned. Something that I think Keith was getting at in his live stream, which is very helpful. You can always learn from your friends, especially if they're really good drawers. Don't listen to the ones who aren't. It's kind of like my roommate's always judging me, and then I'm like, you draw it then, you know? Let's see how you do. Like, anyone can be a critic, but I am only listening to the people who have constructive insights these days. Which let me go into this getting off social media thing, guys. I've been meditating every day for more than 30 days, and then that noise of the politics and the BS on there, honestly, I have to say I wish I'd done it a long time ago. When the studio's open, obviously I'll have to go back so that I can communicate outward with people, but it's summer and I have my life back, which feels great. Going across from the bottom of the knee here, I'll show on here, is where those need to meet up. I had it too high up. I'm not sure if that helps you. If you're out there, Dave, Mary, some other people I know who follow along, don't do my mistakes. Let's find out. Yeah, so I can get a little wider here. Let's find out where that looks better. Better already. So I haven't backed up at all, right? This is a bad habit to have. But I feel like I need to get some more work done before I analyze how far I'm off. There we go. Let's try it like that. All right, still doing some contours here. It's a battle. Bottom of the knee to the calf. Okay, let's make sure the ankles are the same distance apart. Because that's how it works. And for now, I'll just leave it fairly straight, even though there's undulations, and we can talk about those when we get to them. It does look pretty weird to me right now. I'm just looking at the negative shape there, but it's working. Some awkward parts of the puzzle, but see how she turns out. Hey, thank you for messaging. There's someone out there. Okay. We've got this, zoom out a little bit. All right. Okay, we've got our figure fairly blocked in now. Okay. So I do want to take a little break because I need to back off of it. And maybe this is when I'm going to take a kneadable eraser and just lighten everything up a little bit. Starting to get heavy and thick, and it's like, is the line on the inside or the outside of that point? Just roll over the whole drawing, and then we'll have a look. Then you know, there's not as big a commitment when you lighten it up. The other way to lighten it too is if you're on newsprint, like this paper, like I said, I don't know what it is. You can actually just rub it with your hand, take it down. Let's go like this. So, I'm gonna run that 5-minute thing again, and that will bring us to 7. Take a little break, drink your Kratom, your Pepsi, whatever it is. I don't feel any different yet. Maybe like matcha, this is just caffeinated, I don't know. Let's take 5. That's what we do. And cut. And straight cut. Okay, okay. I sat back and looked, and I'm gonna tilt it. So, feel like I've made the waist too thin. I took a measurement of the head sideways. The measurement's right. So, it might be where it shifted because I feel like I don't have this angle, this column correct. You know, there's a pushing out of this rib cage and a turning of this body. It gets too tight in here. So I think the solution is to widen a little to this side. And if I look, say where this eye is placed, I'm okay if I go a little wider, but it's the direction. So let's see if I have something straight. If I go from the trochanter to the elbow, right, I don't quite have that angle. And that angle is repeated down here. And that's what I need, is that pushing of those forms. So we'll see if we can do that. Now I'm kind of at a crossroads time-wise because I was hoping to do 2 drawings. At the belly button, it turns up. So we're gonna push that out a little bit more. Hopefully that gives that illusion further. There are other things, and the method of construction of this drawing is imperfect, so we just got to deal with what we have now. And a sharp pencil also helps, rather than something very, very dull. Okay, that is much better. Let's take a measurement of the head again and go across from the ribs, head, ribs. Yeah, much better. We'll make that a little wider there as well. This paper is not the best. Oh, speaking of the paper, this guy sent me an email, and he's got one of those drawers available, $250 for storing your drawings. So hopefully it's not taken and we can get it for the studio, because that way students can leave their stuff here and don't have to carry it all the time. Obviously at C-Space, I thought when I moved in that we'd all have lockers, like it would still be like a school. Oh wow. So horizontally from here is where that needs to turn in. I was dropping that down too far. There we go. Okay. Anyways, I am excited. That will be $250 well spent if it's available. Although I'm not sure I'm gonna be able to fit it in my CRV. We'll see how heavy it is as well. Okay. There we go. So, okay, the point being, now we want to find, we've got the shape, so to speak. We want to find the shadows. So I'm going to draw core and some cast. And I also feel that this is at too high of an angle and that elbow should go out further. So we'll fix that too. We'll fix that too while we're here. Just when I look here and when I look up, my brain gets a little confused as to which one I'm supposed to be following. So I'm going to favor up because I am more trained to look up there, and that's the goal, looking in front of me more so than looking down and to the right. down and to the right. Okay. Therein lies the problem. So here's my thought process. I'm training kind of proportions today. And maybe we'll get the other guy drawn on the side. And then forego rendering. Just get the forms in and look to see what can be improved upon, repaired. And save the rendering part of the lesson for another stage. Okay, I like to get both these characters on here if possible. And also see where I'm going wrong. I am feeling the effects of the kratom now. It's mildly sedating. Go figure. Could be that I'm tired too. I get up, I can't help it, at like a farmer, like 5 a.m. Like I try to sleep in, but it's like, Bunny, let's go! Life is good. Let's get to the studio. I also love getting to the studio and no one is here. Although today we had our board meeting. Board. The annual general meeting of C-Space. Okay. Let's get the parts of the face in. I'm gonna squint my eyes. That's right. And I'm just going to simplify the shapes of what is light, what is dark for now. Maybe kind of show where the hair is. Now the hair goes above the cranial mass, the skull shape, right? We don't have hair tattooed onto the skin of our head. Although I'm getting to the point that I might have to do that soon. That'd be pretty creepy, but also kind of cool. That's how I'll solve my hairline issues. I'll tattoo hair. I'm gonna be a cool old dude if we make it that far. There was this wrestler, Bam Bam Bigelow, and he had flames tattooed on his head. And as a kid, I just thought that was the coolest. So I'm going to widen the jaw some more for that negative space. But also we see more side of the face here because she's turned at a slight 3/4. So sometimes we got to make adjustments. The earlobes are lower than the nose, and shooting that line across the nostrils, across the earlobes, across the mouth. That way everything runs parallel. I didn't do that before, and for years I would put the eyes too high up. And maybe you guys have seen on my journey, I am learning and improving. Okay, so for the eyes, we kind of want to make like sunglasses. And then I'm going to use the side here, more soft along the cheeks, please. And it goes lower than the tip of the nose. The nose, I like to think of McDonald's or Seagull. Here, I'm gonna zoom in while I do this face because it might. Wait, I gotta see where. Okay, so let me just move myself around. There we go. And to the right. Okay. So, and I'll move this closer. We'll get a little bit of it in here. It goes beside the eye. The cheek is below the nose, but I like to treat the nose like an M shape. And below the nose, we get this philtrum shadow. And we'll just flatten that out with tone. Same as this side. So here's my thought process too. Although I'm not going for the rendering part, I can at least do the toning part so that it at least looks good when I post on social media and remind people that this is the coolest place to be on a Wednesday night if you're not doing anything else. Right? Right. There we go. Okay. So I'm back up at the glabella. I'm gonna turn. Wait. I moved my picture so that I could see if I had focused the camera. Now I don't have a face to look at. Okay. There we go. I think this will be fun to spend a whole session rendering these two next week after, oh my God, Bunny. My computer's going crazy right now. Okay, there we go. Now I can see the face. On the screen ahead of me, of course. Side of the nose, there's a shadow there. Side of the mouth. So let's go from the bottom of the lip now. We have the top lip. There's a little piece under the nose, but the top lip. Now if we go from the center through the nostril, we get the side of the mouth. And in this case, she's got that upturned mouth. I really like to think of the features of the mouth like a stingray, like flying through the water. I like to think of it abstractly. It makes it a lot easier to draw than what you think you know about the mouth, because people have very different mouth shapes. Okay. This bottom lip has to be bigger. And the shadow goes down to the chin fold. Across the chin fold. I feel like the chin needs to be a little bit wider. Got to be careful with the width of the chin on a female, that they don't look too masculine. And using soft curves does aid that, for sure. But often it's the size of the chin that does it. So we'll pull the shadow side up to the mouth and across. Okay, so I'm still trying to keep it basic enough. We're not doing the full render. Side of the mouth goes up to the cheek and meets up with that shadow shape. Shadow across the lip. Good enough. Let's get the other eye shape in. And trying to keep this vertical of the eye, right? This direction going. Okay. Her eyebrow comes up. And I should be staying below that brow line that I established. Actually, I'm gonna ride it right across. But that's not the shadow shape. Right across from, in fact, my mouth looks a little tilted. Tilt. It is tilted. Try to keep that parallel going. So this is my parallel. That's my eyes. Okay. So I have in shadow the eye fold, the lid. Somewhere around here will be the pupil, and under the eye kind of thing. We'll get this guy in here too. Like that. Fold above kind of idea. That gives you kind of a locator, at least. The ear starts where I drew it. Getting caught up in this portrait right now. My excuse will be, this is how you make up for obsession. Be like, well, the more I draw the face, the more finished people will think it is. Because we're not going to finish it this week. Right? I don't think. Okay. Great. Face. Right on. Let's move along. That looks weird to you guys, I think. Looks weird on the screen. Looks weird. So, the lower part of the forearm, that's where your tendons are. Curve along the forearm, and we meet up to that point. From the back of the elbow, back of the ulna, there's a flat part here. It's kind of a house shape from the tricep up. But we're just gonna softly draw these shadow shapes. It's almost like he draws every muscle out. This is often a hard area, I find. The tendons under the armpit. So we'll learn next session maybe a little bit more about those things as well. And just add some tone to that. This allows me to repair as I go. In fact, you can see he has a little repair. I wonder if he even used an eraser. It looks like he just boldly drew everything. Takes years to get to that point though. One day. I'm just happy that things are close to the neighborhood most of the time. Okay, let's look here. The neck is all in shadow. Curve that a little bit more. Let's not lose our sternocleidomastoid there. We'll emphasize it a little bit more. He uses a crosshatch there, but okay. The clavicle. Whew. So from this elbow, you can see kind of a tendon there. We have meeting up to that tendon, and it softens as it travels down. Kind of travels up this way. Are we having fun yet, group? There's always a part of the drawing when I just, you know, I guess I'm excited to start seeing things come together, or there's something really interesting developing. Add that right there. Here again, the armpit should actually be a little higher up. And then here, it's not a straight line. It curves slightly down. Cast shadows describe the object they're falling on, but this is all tone, right? We're keeping it simple. Simple enough. Can always add dark on top. And you'll see I erase with my opposite hand. Let's zoom back out quick. Whoa, I really moved where I was. Okay. How about that? Okay. Travels down. I've given far too large of lat and not long enough. So I'll repair that. Close to the center line, I'll draw an ellipse. And the form shadow, then draw kind of a line for the fold, right, because it's a little darker there, and then the cast shadow below. And I'll just make it all one value for now. But you can see the separation structurally. Below that, there is this fold here where we see the serratus. But for now, let's get those shapes in. This side, right, it's still soft here. Vertical. Then the tip is the cast. Let me move my image up a little bit. Following back down. Can follow the pack up too. This will all be darker. Okay, good. Keep on moving, they say. So you can see by this line and this line, the throw of the light, the angle, which is why the whole neck is in shadow here. The light is coming just above the head down in this direction, right? Just look for the direction of the shadows and you can guess your light source. So this does make, as I'm going down, I notice that the body can be a little wider here. So she doesn't look so starving. So where that center line is, I can describe a little lower the thoracic arch here. It's in shadow, which is great. And it comes up to the belly button, which I'm going to move. Oh, the lights just turned back on in here. To the right. I mean, we could render this out. I hit my halfway point here, and I thought I would be so far ahead, and that is really my ego is overstating my abilities here. That being said, having fun. If you're still listening, I'm having a good time. Hope you're enjoying this. Look at these abs a little bit highlighted. Sometimes I arrive and like an athlete, I had to be like, no, Bunny, you're going to do it. I'm like, I could come up with some excuses. I could just go home and watch a movie. I can't remember the last time I sat and watched a movie. It was definitely last year. I watched that bird movie, The Great Year or whatever. I got rid of Netflix 2 March ago. As soon as the beer bug hit, it made me, because I was worried about being able to pay rent, I went and I was like, okay, what don't I need? Strangely enough, I kept Prime. I think because American Gods was on there and I was watching that for a little bit. Now I'm questioning why I even keep it, so I forced myself to order some things. Some vitamins. Okay. Enough about me. Enough about me. That looks good. Let's go down the front. Oh yeah, there's like a beautiful halftone there. Follow these little bulges and nuances down the leg, and it connects. Now this I use the tip for. Oh man, so this leg could probably be a lot wider. They're both the same width. Not here, they're not. This leg could be wider. Crossing over my center line now. There we go. Okay. I could tell that by this angle. Wasn't going the right direction. Okay. Which will move this back to where I had it. Don't second guess yourself or you'll make more mistakes. what's really weird is today, before this started, I was like, I'm in my head a lot. You can tell by my ability to talk here. I was in my head about doing copies because I've been SHIT on for doing copies on Instagram and stuff, and I'm like, that's really weird. Like, that I should be ashamed of myself for not doing my own art. Okay, I get the sentiment a little bit, except that I'm just training, and you can learn so much from, it's not like a copyright thing, and I'm not making any money or selling it. Hey, my neighbor's on. Hey, G. All right. I like it. I like it. I don't hate it. We'll move down. And then we'll move on to the guy on this side, I think. We can do all our touch-ups and stuff. And get more fine maybe and zoom in the camera next session. Next session, if that's what happens. So, we will... Oh, I really like his cross-hatching here. We will just make dark what is dark. Which for the most part is this whole leg. Because it's below the light. But the foot, not so much. The foot is coming out. Okay, we'll leave that like so for now. Okay. I'm tempted to do the corrections by using my light table and tracing my drawing here so that the paper's clean, but we'll see. So let's get this side of the leg has not a shadow, but he's drawing the form, so we can do that by pulling the direction as a cross contour for now. But there is one where we have represented with this triangle here, the patella. Look at that, an actual straight line. Strange. And then down the side. I didn't really define this leg, but there is a cast shadow across the foot. So we'll just put all that with some tone. We'll find it later. We'll find it later. Okay, so that's enough. Creating a lay-in and a block-in. And we'll save the rendering for a fresher time. But we'll analyze it later. Because we're halfway. And I would like to do the second drawing on the right side. So we'll just put this aside. Where is that second drawing? Let's hope it goes smoother than that one now that I'm a little bit warmed up. Oh yeah, so we're gonna do this guy on this side. We'll cover the face so we don't get distracted. Do you like my royal we, guys? Thanks for comments. I appreciate you guys coming. I'm going to use a different pencil this time, a layout pencil, because it's smaller and pointier. And already, all the pencils I've been using, except this one, are already dull. And I don't feel like sharpening them right now. So, let me think. 23 minutes. We'll see how we feel. I could just sit and draw for 9 hours, but I'll have a hunchback in the next 10 years. 24 minutes. Okay, this gen. Now, probably should open up the file on the screen so I can see what I'm doing. Let's do this a different way. Let's block in using straight lines because it's a male. You'll see that he's a little bit more angular. But let's use the classical method. And we'll draw the envelope and then the structure within. Let's try that. So this one we built lines and then built forms up, but we didn't actually draw all of the forms or construct it. So that's like Riley method, Watts Atelier, comic book drawing, those types of angles where you're inventing the illusion of three-dimensionality on a two-dimensional surface through understanding of how the shape twists in space. This way is almost like carving a piece of wood. So let's just define a top. See if that relates to her head. Maybe put it up a little higher. And a bottom. It's about the same. We'll make them about the same length. Let me also find a plumb. Like there's a line on here. I might just use that. It's about halfway. So this is this line that Sabine already drew from the achromium process to the trochanter. I'll say that that's that. And then the halfway point between the two will be the other side generally. She goes up awfully high. So I'm going to go across. And then that's about where the head is. It kind of goes down. You can go down to the feet. From there. It's like a coffin shape. Maybe up a little bit. Maybe not quite that angle. We're pretty good at judging these angles. So I'm just like darting my eyes from like the heels around here to the side of the foot. I don't know, the leg, the knees kind of go in up here. I mean, it's kind of straight. It's kind of straight from that elbow, which is about the center line. And we'll cut out these other parts. So I get the sense, wait, let me draw it right on here. I do this, I do this, I do this, and then I just did that kind of straight. Although now I look, it's a little bit more angled. Drawing at, like, humans are good at this abstract stuff. I did draw the elbow, although I think I'll move it higher. Because she goes up that high, I might as well have them kind of mirror each other. Put them up a little higher. And it slightly tilts down towards the head and towards that center line. So that's here. It's almost straight, actually. So do it with your eyes. I mean, I'm doing it on paper. And then the head down. Right there. From about that center line, which you can see. So that would be like a triangulation method. It's not perfect. But if I gave you a block of wood to carve, that's what you would do. You'd get the block of wood and then you'd cut it down that way. So I'm just going to fold this in half. I just want to see where the halfway point is. So I'm actually using the paper right now. Yep, it's his groin, his butt. So I'm just going to shrink my fingers at the same. And it's good to check. So look at that. I have this much extra. I don't have that much extra there. So maybe that's about right. And that's where halfway is for her. I mean, I could measure the paper, I suppose. So that's where his butt crack is. And just based off this spacing, it's halfway. About. So that gives me kind of a landmark. All right, let's carve out some more space. The hips are there. So this is like a box form. You can see the little V shape, the tailbone area, the sacrum, and there's like a round form, the erector spinae going up. All right, okay. So that's not carving it out, but I just want to locate myself. Sometimes I put an X on the halfway point, as you've seen in previous ones, so that I don't get lost. And let's just do a general leg shape. Hopefully this works out. That's the calf. The foot actually comes out a little bit more. Okay. I'm cutting this side out if I can. The hips move in. The body is folded. Now there's many little angles here, but in general it goes like this. All right. Squinting my eyes. Oh boy. Let's try this one. Down. Wait. Down. That looks better. Over. And where the hip is, if I go straight up, that's where this angle should be coming down. Although now that I see the angle, I feel like the arm needs to be a little bit lower. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Carving it out. The first one is your notational space envelope. And then we just start cutting away. And squinting your eyes helps. Simplify the forms. I mean, if you were Michelangelo and you were carving, I mean, this guy's a sculptor, right? This is how you get to the big shapes. Big shapes first. Hopefully you've left enough material. Okay. Curves, which I could do. You can also describe a curve with two straight lines. If I go straight across from that elbow, that's about where that fold is. So that's good. Okay. Let's see where we get to here. Just to be sure, I want to measure that my hips are the same size. If the body's turned, you might have a little bit more or less on either side, but in this case, I'm okay. There's an oblique, a stretch, because there's squash here, or compression. Oh, it might be a little lower. We'll see about that. I love that contrast with contrapasse. They each have one leg up and the weight bearing down, so it pushes the hips. So we've got the angle of the shoulders this way and the hips this way. The angle of the shoulders this way. Actually, the hips are kind of this way with her, but it just looks more dynamic than just sitting robotically. Ribs coming out. Hips go in. Squinting my eyes, leg comes out. So I could be off here. Could be making this leg too thick when the bottom one should be thicker. The one holding the weight. We'll keep going. You can always push it out this way too. This calf actually is a little more straight. Wait, that's not where it goes. I see now. That's why. Chopping it out. Just keep chopping. Okay, so the foot. There's an ankle right there. Might be in the wrong place, might not be. Just chopping the wood, chopping the wood. You can keep up. We got 10 minutes left. In a way, this way is faster than the last way I did it by drawing the contours deeply. There's a gap in the middle. Usually you cut inside the pieces. It shouldn't go outside. Because if you were chopping it and you cut a piece off, you can't get that piece back. That would be a job for clay. The sculptors actually make a clay maquette. So sculpting is both additive and reductive art. If you're carving marble, and especially an expensive piece, you don't just start cutting into it. You have to plan what you're doing or you're wasting your money. Especially if it's like, oh, I forgot, the front bit of this guy. You can't go back. I mean, there are ways. They often would fasten the arms on. There's not like glue, really. I mean, the Romans did make concrete, but it would not work great for a sculpture. Especially if you want it to last time or have someone not break it. Okay. Let's get back down to this ankle here. It's got some funky shapes. So May long weekend, I always say to people, don't plant in Calgary until after the May long weekend. And people did weeks ago, which is great. Cover your stuff. This morning I look out the window. Lo and behold, sleet. Snow. Your plants can handle it. Not for continuous days. They can handle, up to -5 when they're first growing. Not their preference for life. Right? Okay, there's my foot shape. Pushing this ankle over a little bit. We'll see. All right, carving it out. So here, to be simple, I could just first make this simple shape. I guess I'm even still making a complicated shape. Right, that negative space in there. I don't know if that's in the right place for the shoulders to be. And it seems like it's not. We'll find out. It's a process of discovery. Trap. Whew, that shoulder might be real low. Let's move it up. That doesn't look right to me. Let's do it like that. That looks a little bit better, although I don't think I have enough squash here. The face. Somewhere around there. So I'm drawing that negative space. That negative space there. So maybe my elbow was too far out. That first diagonal. We'll see. It's an interesting way of working though, right? If you haven't done it before, you should try it. I know Keith is out there. Barg drawings, barg drawings. Nobody wants to do the hard work of the barg drawings, but I'm telling you, in my own experience, they were so helpful. Well, the other issue is if you don't want to learn sight size, they are useless for you. I do like sight size. It has trained my eye, I think, a lot. I think you can see that I'm fairly accurate, and you too can be. Look, I don't work for Barg. There's no Barg affiliate program here. I'm just saying. That's what they do at the Florence Academy. That's what they do at the Paris Academy. That's what they do at Angel Academy, I believe. Martino taught the Barg drawings there. One of my favorite artists, Cesar Millan, he does the Barg drawings. Can't hurt. When I was in Portugal, I got to handle the drawings with white gloves from the 1800s, and it had the teacher's marks on them, which was so cool because after seeing like 100 of them, you could start to see what the preferences of the day were. So, wow, this guy's thumb. If you go straight across, that's where the shoulder is. There we go. I'm trying to get this arm long enough. The arm, yeah, in alignment there. Maybe I cut out too much on this side. Anyways, part of the preaching is just to get your guys' attention. Okay, 8 o'clock. We got one more hour. So, oh, there's still 5 minutes here. I am going to take a break in this next one, sit back and look. But, I mean, we're already at a point here where I can start blocking in the lights and darks if I wanted to. Depends how you intend on finishing it. And don't forget that an eraser is an allowable tool. If you haven't seen my personal YouTube channel, Mr. Brian Batista or Brian Bunny Batista, I have a whole video about erasers, rubbers. I make condom jokes in it. But back in the day, you could use stale bread, with pencil at least. So I really feel like you saw I was erasing with my left hand. I really feel it's a good idea to hold one at all times. It's like a safety blanket. Or, I don't know where my kneadable eraser went. I like to stick it right on my gripper here. Keeping it cool. Sometimes when I drank a lot of Coca-Cola back in the day, I can't believe I've been a year and 5 months with essentially no sugar. I would say that that's doing pretty good. Still think this arm is probably too long. Still. Just judging the fact that this is going away from me. But they need to relate. There we go. That's the way. Look at that. Look how much I had to carve down. Okay. Here's another invisible angle, achromium process, or across the back of your trapezoids. We can have signify a line here. I can angle this hip line a little bit more. So a little bit structural, not quite the cutting out, but to give me locations to put my shadow shapes. Let's see, I can also find the fold of the knees. At the back of the knees might be a nice, so that when I'm drawing a line, I know where to get to. Strangely enough, I can use, ooh, that might be a little too low. Use an angle like that to find out where this goes. Triangulation, it's not super accurate, but it can work in a pinch. So, 2 minutes. I'm gonna put the 7-minute relax time on. I need to see a man about a horse anyhow. I feel the kratom is making me have to go to the little lad's room. So, 7-minute, I think, music break. This is because I keep playing the last one and I've only made so many of these things. Go stretch, get a glass of water, and for the last little bit, we'll put the shadow shapes in, and then we'll see what happens time-wise, because he's going fairly quick. Mind you, I do find drawing men a lot easier, maybe because I am one and I'm aware of my own body. I don't know. Or all that practice with Ryan. Who knows what it is, guys. But, yeah, let me put my little countdown creation on. This one, the triangles. Listen to that timing. Amazing. Okay. And we're back. Okay. All right. So while I was looking at this, I realized that this neck was too far over this way, and I didn't have this flank to the right enough, and also my original line wasn't the same thickness throughout. I might shove this arm a little bit more this way, although I don't want to touch hers. So that will push my neck and the trap to the right here. So just a few things, you know, that backing up helped me to see. Definitely needed a little bit more refinement. We'll check it out at the end how much I have to change, but that might have contributed to this arm feeling rather long as well. He's long in the arm. Okay, so I'm going to draw even more basic shadow shapes in here so that we get a light and dark pairing of these two figures in the next 45 or so minutes. Now, I'm not sure if I'm just tired or whatever, but I feel relaxed and I feel a little bit silly. Could just be drawing. So I made another kratom drink with stevia because the last one was so bitter, it was disgusting. We'll see. Maybe what will happen is I'll get strange and then I'll be drawing for 10 hours straight. I don't know what to expect. I went online to find out a little bit of information about it. Basically, I was listening to the Michaela Peterson podcast, and she mentioned how kratom or kratom, I can't remember how she said it, helped her. And then I went online, and then I found out, oh, this is the States, and they won't ship to Canada. And then I found out this might be illegal. How can I get it? I've never used the dark web before. But then I found out that it's not illegal in Canada, and I could buy it in Calgary. It's unclassified right now. And maybe you know about it, but I went on to Erowid to read about it. That's where all the hippies and druggies go, right? Okay. An experiment. I'm saying it's a health supplement. Because I don't even really drink alcohol. Try not to. Does not fare well with me. Oh, the screen is tilted. Oh, that's a contributing factor. I see. Okay, so let's go. Well, we'll just draw to the end. I don't need this timer. We'll just get rid of it. I've got the birds back on as well. So, let's squint our eyes together. We could do exercises and squint and stare and step back. When I was learning the back to the barg talk, when I was learning the barg, it was kind of like learning dance moves. Like you could have had an egg timer, and it's like look for a minute, draw for a minute, step back and look, walk back up, right? You're like standing 15 feet away. Look for a minute, draw for a minute, step back, like a dance. And that's why a lot of those Atelier drawings are like 20 hours. It's about precision. Here we're mucking about too. Just a different process. I'm just gonna drop that down. It's gonna be where the heel is. So if I drive my heel up, I see that my shoulder was going too far this way. A man has a very V-shaped back, and I caught it, right? That I was losing that. So I'll just use an angle to describe the deltoid, and I'll bring out the tricep and elbow now. Uh-oh. They're almost gonna touch elbows. I don't know if that's gonna be allowed. Too much tension. If I do retrace this onto a clean sheet so that I can have a much nicer finish, which is allowed, guys. Right now I'm doing anatomy studies of the legs, and I've probably traced the bones from my own drawing multiple times. So I'm not tracing, because tracing I don't think teaches you anything. You're just following the lines. It's like using a coloring book. But if you're tracing your own work and making improvements, and to clean it up, you're refining your process rather than, it's not cheating, right? I used to think all tracing was cheating. But when you're doing things by hand, like, you got to think, if you're a digital artist, you can just pick up and move things. Well, back in the day with layouts and compositions, you would have had to just trace it and redraw it, trace it, redraw it. I still like doing things the old-fashioned way, but I am saving up for one of those iPad Pros so that I can use Procreate to plan my compositions more quickly. I don't know. I'm sure it will be a huge professional advantage for me. Although I don't know that I want to give up the old-fashioned way, because number one, I am old-fashioned, but even Luke, who is a digital designer, he's constantly trying to make time to draw the old-fashioned way. So, I mean, I could get maybe some grants or something, but, you know, I priced them out. And even with my ACAD teaching discount, money. Need some money. I need some money, guys. Some rich benefactor can come in next, or maybe I'll go buy a lotto ticket. I am one lucky guy. You know why? Because I'm doing what I love. And when you do what you love, I honestly think you get to be a better person. You don't hate the world. I like coming to work. It's not a workaholic problem. Although that might be a factor. But I was already trying to back out of this today. These rainy days, I just want to go sit in my car and listen to the rain. Okay. Rather than getting lost in all this stuff, which I could do for hours, let's do what my plan was. Come on, guys, rein me in. Jeez. Okay. So, squinting my eyes, I see shadow shape down the back. We're seeing the stretching of the muscles. So there's like striations. Here we have your latissimus dorsi, and that meets up to your aponeurosis. The aponeurosis is a diamond shape. I'll just put it in here. It's a diamond shape. That's one of my favorite art words, aponeurosis. So that's the diamond shape there. And it's like a very thin sheet of tendon or fascia. And as it's being pulled, so some of this is rib and muscle, showing that stretch and squash, and that aponeurosis is turning into the lat, and the lat muscle fibers go this direction, right? It wraps around like this. So you can kind of see here the lat being signified. And then on top of the lat, we can see the trap. The trap is going across like this. And you can even see some of the muscles underneath. Even under the trap, you have your rhomboids underneath. This signifier here is, so you have the deltoid going across and up, and it crosses over your teres major, teres minor, and the very top here is your infraspinatus. I don't know why this has to turn into me explaining the muscles. Really, I should just do what I said I was going to do. Anyways, but that's the reason we see this tone down here. Now, I'm using a layout pencil. I'm going to switch back to my nice, rich, soft, delicious favorite pencil in the whole world. Although the quality pisses me off sometimes because you spend so much money on this Pierre Noir 1710B. Until I get my deal with them, I think I'll have to have at least 10,000 subscribers, not the few that I have. That being said, the weirdest thing happened. I wear a lot of cool watches, and I don't remember if it was this watch. I think watches are great. I like to flip it and pretend I'm looking at the time. To me, it's like, I mean, I have other jewelry, but it's man jewelry. And it's like, you know, I like the skeleton watches, so my arm movement controls it, okay? So that's just me personally. And I collect watches. I have 5 or 6, but I don't buy super expensive watches. This one was probably $60, and this might be the company that contacted me. But honestly, because of my other social media accounts, I got an offer, and it could totally be fake. They could just be giving it to everyone. They asked to sponsor me. And basically, this is the scam. I'll tell you how it went when I talked to them, or when I contacted them. So basically, they advised me to buy one of their watches, and there's some nice ones. They were sold out of the one I want. And I would pay 75% of the cost. So I would get a tremendous deal on a watch, which I'm up for. And they would want me to wear the watch and to talk about it. And every time a watch got sold, I guess this is sponsorship. So I got my first sponsorship opportunity. I didn't take it. But it's nice that it's there. I don't really know how that stuff works. But I kind of felt, I kind of feel like I'm not that kind of dude, for one thing. I'm not in a place to, hey guys, if I really like something, I'll tell you about it. I really like these pencils. I wish I could get sponsorship from Rosemary Brushes and these pencils. But I think first, I got to get my skills up. What is it? The cart before the horse, right? Anyways. That was kind of cool because it'd be nice to you guys have your friend, me, the YouTube guy, maybe, right? Be like, you know what? I've been there since the start. He was nothing. He was a blabbermouth. And we sat through it until he got better, which took years. It used to be so fun. Now it's just ad after ad. That's the other thing about podcasts that kind of drive me crazy is they're like, the ones that I watch, I don't know about you guys, like I watched a Proco one the other day and it was like manscaping. And he's laughing the whole time, but it was trying to sell me something to trim my ball hair. Oh man. What a funny world we live in. I would totally do manscaping if I already didn't have a razor. It just sounds good. And then it's always like, what's the other one? Legal wills for a while there. VPN blockers, right? That's how you guys will know I sold out. I'll be like, you know what would make this drawing better? Manscaping. Oh man, priceless. Or I don't know what, you know, Stan. I mean, he's probably got millions of views, so he probably gets like 20 grand or something for that. I don't know what it costs. These are free for you and they're gonna stay this way. I would love to be able to afford to just make art and do these every day. I would love to do a challenge, but damn this job, they have so much more work for me right now. My studio is once again full of stuff. Surprise, bunny. We got all this other stuff that's got to go in your studio. I'm not complaining. I'm so grateful to have work. It's already so tough in the arts, and I don't pay myself for running the Atelier because it's my dream project. That's why I work all these other night jobs. But, you know, come on. That's what it takes. Jeff Bezos even, not that I'm saying that art will ever make me a billionaire. That's fine by me. But you got to go through it. All right? We got to invest in ourselves. My biggest fear, though, with all this investing in myself, you know, is that no one will want this skill. Maybe they'll come up with AI and replace all of our skills and needs for art. Highly, highly doubtful. You know, there's all that talk about, oh, just teach truckers to be programmers. It's like, what? Just teach all these artists, what are we going to do? Especially because a lot of us, we have to create. Which I feel is one of the best life skills that there is. Right? We solve problems. Although, maybe not essential. Big life lesson. Big surprise. I'm just glad I paid off my student loans. All right. Enough fun. We got to get serious here. There is an angle to the ankles. And I'm going to squint my eyes, and I'm doing the shadow of the foot. I don't know why I'm just doing this side, I guess, first. I don't know why I did it this way. But that's the way I did it. There we go. We'll see how that lines up later. I do like the idea of, like, I don't know, this paper isn't bad, but being more refined, and I mean, it would be great to do this in graphite. Graphite is, I love these pencils, but graphite is my favorite material. I just wish that it wasn't, when you color dark with graphite, it gets all shiny. You know, you just don't get blacks. And that's what's nice about this material and some Prismacolor, is you just get those dark values, which, believe me, if I drew in graphite on this live stream, you guys wouldn't be back because you'd be like, I didn't see any of what he did until the end, and then it reflected in my face. Manscaping. Just start manscaping. Ladies, theys, all the types. Dogs, you can use manscaping on your dogs. You know, I could have just went halfway. Oh, it's fine. It lines up. Okay. Tendon. Shadow shape. We'll refine this more later. My roommate says that I'm hilarious and I should bring out the comedy, but it's really tough when you don't have anything to react to. You know, like how often do you like, I mean, you laugh at yourself, but you need something to play off of. I've got this friend, Cosmic. He's like the funniest guy I know. But it's only when we're together, right? And it's like volleying the ball. It's only when we're together that the funny really happens well. Because the text funny is not, it doesn't work out for us. Like, I know he's being funny and I'm being funny, it just doesn't play, I guess. Okay, I'm just testing the scratches in the paper. The back of the knees, triangle, making up words, having some fun, time's running out. Don't quit my day job. All right. I guess too, the other consideration at the very end, we're not gonna have that kind of time, is what can I make it look good so that I can post something so it doesn't look like I'm a slacker, right? But I don't have the apps on my phone. It's been wonderful. I'm using free like 7-day trial of Hootsuite, which is now over. I think eventually I'm gonna hire someone. If you know anyone who wants to work here for me doing the social media stuff, I'm gonna create a position for someone here. They can trade classes even if they want, but I don't want to do it. It really, I'm sure I'm good at it. People have told me that, but I just don't. It just takes so much time. This Hootsuite thing, I was able to, like, you just load a bunch of stuff Sunday and then don't think about it again. I feel like, here's my stance. I had to do it, and then I tried to be the best at it, and then I realized I was losing my life over it. But I'm a content creator, not a content consumer. And personally, like, if I see pretty things, I'm like a magpie. And so, you know, all my favorite artists are on there. And then I'm going to the bathroom with my phone, which is embarrassing. And then, like, someone's knocking on the door, and I'm just busy looking at James Gurney the whole time. You know what I mean? Come on. I know some of you guys out there are the same way. You know who I'm talking to. My mom gets really mad because she's like, my stepdad, Daryl's in the bathroom with his phone again, because he's probably in there for a long time. And I know he's looking at my stuff too. Maybe everyone who looks and likes your stuff, just think about it, that they're taking a poop while they do it. Weird. Weird, weird world. Okay. Shouldn't be going into this detail. So, the crossing of the trap and the lat right here creates this little triangular divot, which we see on, you can see it up here too. The Asaro planes of the body. And for a long time I was like, what the heck is this? Like, it's over accentuated, but he also accentuates the line of the lat that goes and kind of wraps around the body. Wow, there's some really great details in here. Fit for next time, and we can talk about these muscles and stuff as well. When I do that, I really get into it, and then I ask myself questions out loud that can be very silly. I'm like straddling, am I teaching? What is this? What is this stream? Like, is it accountability? Does it help you? I don't know what's going on anymore. Maybe it's the kratom, the Thai plant that I'm drinking. But I really question, you know, summer's coming, and if it's just me and you guys, like, who's staying around for this? Oh, sorry, top of my head. This position really reminds me of a Frazetta. There's a couple illustrators as well that I would love to do copies of. Elgren, the Lydecker, you know, those American illustrators. That's the other one, is I look up these guys. Like, you can see all these images for free on Google and all that, but I want a book, you know? The physical thing I could put on my lap. There's books everywhere in my house. I've got like 10 on this table, 5 on this table. Like, it's ridiculous. But I just like to have the physical book always. Not the, I don't want to have like an image collection like I use for these drawings, right? Because I'm using the screen, but it's just not the same. Now, the hands. Maybe for now, I'll just put the little bit of light of the thumb. And then the caster core, and then I'll just darken all of it. Just all of it. Maybe the shape in between as well. But, and he put a dark in behind. Negative shape, negative space. How are we for time? We're not so bad. It's not so bad. I will do the crit at the end though, because I need to see it for myself. And you guys might want to see how crazy my hair looks today. We had the C-Space AGM today. That was like 2.5 hours. I was up at 11, which is late for me, editing a video for Dieter of the time-lapse stuff of me painting Biowall number 2 to share with the group. They do shout-outs to the tenants who are still at it. Kind of my neighbor Mike Dargy, he's killing it on the old they're nominated for a bunch of podcast awards. Natalie Gerber, who I went to school with, and Annika, they won some craft awards for this awesome jacket they made. I asked them if they would make a men's one. They said they would sell me the fabric. It's like $150 a meter, but I'd have to find a tailor. So if I got a suit made out of this fabric, big flower suit, it would cost me an arm and a leg, but it would be so worth it. And I do love my blazers and suits. In art school, I used to be called the suit guy. Ray, my roommate, hated it, and I still have those suits. Although, now that I'm in my 40s, they don't quite fit. This is a thing, guys, if you're not here yet. It kind of sucks, but you fill out. You could say that also people say I look a lot healthier. So, I was also a vegetarian. That probably made the biggest difference. Alright, so, this may have to change here. I could have my measurements off. Whew, like a lot. That arm is just so Arnold Schwarzenegger right now. Okay. I'm just gonna get a little bit more refined. Like, I almost feel like this arm got a little short. You know, it's this back and forth. I'm fighting with this arm, right? You guys have been here before. You saw me move it here, here, here. Now I feel like it's when I start to draw these actual shapes. Seems all wrong. And like a lot of this too is you mentally second guess yourself. And then you can't trust it. Because your mind often lies to you. And you have to trust your eyes. And sometimes I've been sitting in the same chair the whole time. You become a little bit like maybe I'm blind to everything on the right, or my widths are off because this relates to this. I just want to be better. And I'm sure you feel the same way. We are our own harshest critics. And it's a tough world, the arts, as it is. I'm so surprised all these really crappy artists succeed. It's like persistence for a lot of them, but it's like no one ripped them a new a-hole. Like, I'll do it right now. But I'm try to be fairly nice and honest, and I don't even want to deal with these contemporary artists. I only like one or two because I like skills. Oh my god, what a jerk. What a jerk I am. It's just like I love figurative art as well, which is not very popular in this town. Or in most West towns, you know, like even in the States. So that worked out. That's my thumb. And that's where my wrist is. I had to make the head go down a little bit. There's the ear. This might be nice on tan paper too. Let's put the shadow under this forearm. Sometimes too, after this live stream, I'm like just jazzed and I want to keep going. I designed the school to fit the schedule that I thought was perfect for study. And originally I wanted to be a full-time school, but Calgary and people and the money just didn't work out. Became what it became because that's what it could bear. But you start your morning with your drawing. Drawing's the best way to warm up. And then you'd have lunch and you'd hang out with your other art friends and you'd talk about art and you'd sit in the park and you'd have a picnic. There's a park on the other side of C Space. And then you would come back and we'd set up the paints. So that gives you time too, right? Or if you needed to go buy some supplies, you can go down to Swinton's. Not a supporter, but they support me in other ways. This message is brought to you somewhat by my friend Doug Swinton, who doesn't watch these things, but he probably doesn't need to. Anyhow, tangents, of which I am a master of. Go there to buy art supplies anyhow. Okay. I don't know where I was going with that, guys. It's the talking thing. I'm going to draw lines connecting the fingertips. Like webbed fingers. That way I can figure out where they go and how long they are. In the same way as the overall envelope. Are you not entertained? Is there anyone watching? It says 21. Come on. 21 and I got like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 comments? Am I doing something wrong? I wish the art was cooler. Okay. There's kind of the finger pattern. Maybe not quite, but okay. And so that's dark in there. God, I hate at this point doing the hands, you know? Because they can just look so bad. Ugh. So the process, so epicondyles, processes, these are the outer parts of the bones which we use as our landmarks. I look for them to figure out where, you know, these straight lines are going. I think after I study the legs this next month and a half, I'll move on to the arms. I'm trying to make some really nice educational posters with hand drawn, and then I can take them out of a frame and they'll have layers of tracing paper that I can pull out. Not digital, not a slideshow, a physical thing I can put right in front, and people could trace them if they wanted, or do the same exercise. If nothing else, I'm very good at making work for myself. Okay, so we go around the triceps brachii here. Oh yeah, there's some really nice back stuff here. This will be exciting. Put the line up the back. Look at this little scoliosis. It's not actually, but okay. So I'm gonna do a little cleanup. I don't like the dirty page, you know? Keep it clean in between. This paper is really thin, although it handles the erasing all right. I've already kind of mucked up the paper up here. But let's keep it clean for presentation purposes. I'm going to tilt the camera up shortly and we'll put it up on the screen. I'll have to flick back and forth because I can only have one image at a time. I'm not sure. I guess I should have put Sabin's lines in. Anyways, I think you guys can see why I love this artist in particular, the way that it's like characterized and almost over accentuating the forms sculpturally in line with other sculpting drawers like Michelangelo. I got him to fit. I mean, that's very important. So let me tilt up And you'll see what's going on here. I didn't drink this other Creton here. Okay. It's 8:44. Holy lick. I really called it in a little bit on the feet. But we'll back up. Don't unplug the camera, bunny. Okay, look at that. There's even a skeleton in the background. And the studio name. Hey, this is working out. Zoom in a little bit. So you can see the image on the screen that I'm drawing from. And soon you'll see me. Yay. I'm not sure if that's blown out or not. Let me adjust the microphone. This is where a helping hand would be useful. Or like a multi-camera setup. Oh, okay. That's aiming towards me. Let's see. It's about this big. Oh my God. No. I'm going to try to make it a little bit bigger on the screen. We'll see how warm we get. We'll see. Okay, here's our buddy. Wow, this paper is so thin, I could actually... Maybe I'll try to turn out the lights and we'll see if we can see through the paper where I've distorted. But let me try to get the right size first. I'm not sure if I can just... This is like a preview. Let's see. Is that... No. This is the thing that always gets me is you can never... I don't know if there's a quick key. Like how do I get it that size? Wait. Zoom plus. It's too big. Guys, I don't know. What if I go like that? Ah? Ha ha! Ha ha! I think I did it. I think that's good. Okay. Oh yeah, now it's reacting to it. Sweet. I'm a little bit of a Luddite when it comes to some things, okay? Okay. Come on. All right. I'm gonna turn this light off. Let's just try some things. It's art. So we try things. I made this cane when I was, I guess, a teenager to look like bamboo, and then I had this duck. Put some little emeralds. Anyways, it's useful for all sorts of things, including turning off this light. Hey! Maybe not that good at it though. Are you not entertained? Oh my God. I stare up at this light. This light, by the way, Keith got me that. Oh yeah, it's gonna happen, guys. I think we're close. I'm not sure if you can see through this. So that's not even all the lights off. Oh my God. I'm like off by a little percent here. Okay, wait. This is so exciting. We have not done this here before. Every week there's something new, right? I'm gonna try to turn off the room lights. Like, if I line up the elbow, I'm pretty close. He's a little bit taller. And remember what I said about, and a little bit more crooked too. Okay, wow. I made my guy a little bit wider here. Mine's a little shifted. Maybe if I just tape it like that. Okay, that's a little bit better. My thumb is way off. You know what? I'm gonna make a little mark because I'm not gonna do this again. I can't believe how close that is. Do this for yourself. Let's hit the lights and just see. I'm not sure what this will do. If you guys can actually see that. Hey, My shadows are a little off too. Let's just put a little cheater marks for next week. But my muscles are in the right place. My shadow, oh, I didn't get that one. Other than that, guys, I mean, come on. Do I get points for being accurate or what? You watched me do it. I didn't trace, I don't cheat. I'm quite happy with how accurate my eye is getting. There are little things here and there, right? And when I'm back to life drawing, unfortunately, we'll be back at square one. Let me turn the lights back on because we want to actually see this drawing. But that's to illustrate for you how you can test. Even my legs are the right size this time. You can test where you are. You saw the process I went through, but when I first started, I had to build up all the shapes all the time because my eye wasn't accurate. And I feel like I'm getting over a plateau in terms of my proportions. So now let's open up the file of the girl. And I mean, it should be about the same size because I drew from the same. Of course they have to make it like this. I'll just see if we can get it the same size too. Okay. Oh no. Oh boy. Okay. This isn't gonna be as good for sure. Let me move it off to the side. This is fun. This is kind of like a game show a little bit. There's your comments. Ophelia Odyssey Champagne. Thank you. That's what we should do is like make this a little more interactive. Be like, all right, let's vote. Okay. Wait, I did that wrong. I'm in mirror in my brain. Okay. Wow. What's going on? Am I stupid? Yes. Okay. Oh, lick. Okay. So, head's not big enough. This is about the same size. I think we would agree. Oh man, Bunny. What the? So I guess before the kratom, how the heck did I get so far off? All right. I was winning. Maybe I just got better with time. But this is not better. Let's brutalize my life. Lights out. Oh boy. I hope you can see this. Let me zoom in maybe. Oh, whoop, whoop. Oh, lordy lord. Okay. All right. So the shoulders. Wait. Let me start with lining the head up. We did start with the head. My head is too small. Actually, it looks pretty good. When I line it up like that, it's pretty good. Okay. So my elbow isn't quite long enough, and this arm is quite a bit smaller and shifted over, as you can see, the two lines. Dropping the breast down. But then, if I go with this head, and the breast line would be a little bit bigger, I'll just put it in here. I should do these corrections in another color. I had issues with my waist, and I'm really not thick enough. So I needed waist there, arm there. Wow, that arm was way, way off. But the hips and I can't see where her belly button is. The breasts weren't big enough horizontally, and neither was her waist, which I felt that was happening, and I was trying to get that lean in. Well, I'm still quite vertical, but now that I see where it is, it's got more of this angled lean. The other thing that's an issue is that my feet go way further down. And somehow, because of that, the calves are in the wrong place, right? Because I was going halfway. The shadow is about right, and this knee is too low, right? Because the halfway shifts it. So I could just keep the legs longer. I've stretched them out 5 or 10%. But actually, you know, widths, horizontal issues for me. This whole side is kind of effed up. Because I was taking the arm measurements off of here, they shifted over because I didn't have, like, there's a full centimeter there that I needed to add. And this arm is off by that same centimeter. The legs are a little bit longer. I wish I could put them both up at the same time, but we'll look at this again. You gotta be brutally honest. It's the only way to keep going in the right direction. That was interesting. That was interesting. But yeah, you can see where, very useful duck. You can see where that arm is off, the same width and distance of right here. And then the calf has to move up because the foot moves up 1.5 centimeters. So I've got the same vertical distance missing as I have the horizontal distance. And I blew that up about the right size. I mean, it could be a little bit off, but I'm happy to note that I felt like her hips were too wide on this side, which may have been why I compensated this way, but then they ended up being the right size. So seeing those corrections on there, I think my plan for next week, and I hope you join me, is that maybe I'll put a blank sheet of paper on top and trace my drawing clean, maybe even with graphite, so that I don't have all the erasing and dirty hand. And we'll go in and we'll talk about all the little parts of rendering that make Sabin's drawings such a beautiful thing and so instructive. Like what direction he draws his crosshatch, and we'll like maybe even focus in and go in tight. And partially the reason I'm saying this is to remind myself next week I'll watch the end of this video and then I'll know what we're doing. So 2 figures, front and back, which means you'll learn a lot about a lot of different muscles. There's a lot going on in here. And we'll try to zoom in. And I think it'll be a really interesting learning experience. Maybe you want to follow along. So, with that being said, I got to do the YouTube things. Thank you for joining me, guys. I appreciate the comments and everything. I look at them after the fact as well. I don't know where they are on the screen. Oh, there they are. It's dark in here all of a sudden without that light on. We will have wonderful May long weekends, right? Even though it's probably going to be snowing. Cover your plants, let them live. Like, comment, share, subscribe. What are the other things I'm supposed to say? I should probably make a list and look at it. Anyhow, I appreciate it. And I don't have a hat here to do my regular fade out. We'll go back to this. All right, back to the hat. And I'm riding my bike now, not today because I had a bunch of stuff to do, which means I'm not going to have the hat because it doesn't fit under a bike helmet. Maybe I'll just leave it here. We'll see if this works. Yeah, that's all I can think of. My mind is drawing a blank right now. So ciao for now. Damn it. We'll work on this. Wow.